Jen, welcome to the podcast. I am so excited for this conversation. It's something magical happens when mom entrepreneurs have a sit down and make space for a conversation to support other mom entrepreneurs. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I know you were telling me some exciting stuff about a recent event, and it's so magical when we can connect with other entrepreneurs in the digital space that are doing what we're doing. So I'm excited to hear all that you have to share with us and about your journey. So let's start where you began as an entrepreneur, and you went from network marketing to becoming a certified success coach and an NLP practitioner. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
I was in aesthetics for 13 years. I did laser hair removal, I did facials, I did helped with Botox, I did laser hair removal, all that kind of thing. And previous to that, I had always worked two jobs. I always had a full-time job and then I had a part-time job on the weekends just to be able to earn enough money. So I finally got into aesthetics and I have one full-time job. It was great, but I wanted to pay off my debt super quick. So at the same time, I've always been into health and fitness, and I was living in the suburbs, and one of my girlfriends was posting some stuff on Facebook about a health and fitness challenge. I'm like, sweet, that sounds right up my alley. I love challenges. And so I joined her challenge. I lost, I think 10 or 12 pounds in a very short amount of time, which for me was relatively a great goal, a great outcome. And I said to myself, I'm like, I can run challenges like this, and I think I can do it. Like I had so many ideas coming through me. I'm like, how do I do what you're doing? And it ended up being a network marketing company, which so funny looking back at it now. Like, had I known it was network marketing, I probably wouldn't have joined because of all the stigmas that I heard thought network marketing was before. But anyway, I jumped in with 2 feet. I didn't care. All I wanted to do was help people to get the results that I had because I felt like $1 million. And so, probably about 2 years down the road, I was doing this as a side hustle, nights and weekends, and I had grown my business to full-time income, and it was actually overshadowing my aesthetics income. So, at the same time, I woke up pregnant one day, which is totally weird. My then boyfriend, now husband, and I talked about it, and we decided that it made the most sense for me to retire from aesthetics. My job was an hour away because ultimately what I wanted is I saw myself having this big, huge network marketing team and all the awards and the stages and all helping all the people and the income and the impact. I wanted the whole thing, the whole dream of walking across the stage and getting all the things, right? And so I retired from aesthetics. I jumped into this full-time mom, full-time network marketing business. And I was 41 and I it didn't happen quickly, but it was like a slow burning death of of my business because I didn't understand how I could be a good mom and a good business owner at the same time. And all of a sudden I had all this time for my business, but now I had like this much time. And I'm like, you like I was, the breastfeeding and my son didn't sleep well and all these things. And I was a new mom, a new wife, and like all this stuff was coming down on me and I felt like I was drowning. I'm like, and I'm looking at other people. I'm like, you have 4 kids and you are crushing. Like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I figure this out? So I tried to get up early. That didn't work. I tried to stay up late. I was staying up till 2:30 in the morning working my business and, my son getting up at 5:30, nothing was working. And so probably about 2 years, maybe three, my son was about three, I had gotten myself into this beautiful spiral, downward spiral of I suck land and everything sucked. I sucked, like life sucked. I was like, were building a brand new house. We had just gotten married. I had this beautiful 3-year-old and everything around me sucked. And I could not get myself out of this hole that I was in because my people were quitting my business. I was a crappy leader. All the reasons why, like they were quitting was my fault. Like everything was my fault. I was doing all these things. I could not figure out what to do. And so I got an email one day from a coach that I was following who I actually knew briefly. And he said something that changed like literally the trajectory of my life. He offered this mindset help, and I'm like, I don't need mindset, I need a strategy. I'm like, I need to know what to do, how to do it, what to say, all the things. But what I
Mm.
didn't realize is that it was my own mindset that was keeping me stuck. And so I started to dive deep into mindset. And it's so funny because I felt like I was the mindset person on my entire team. I read all the books, I listened to the podcasts, I was on the walks, I was doing the courses, I was doing all those things. And I prided myself on my mindset when mine was in such a hole that it's so funny to think about it now. It's just like I was like the mindset person and mine was so horrendous. And so one late night, early morning breastfeeding session, I was scrolling social media or like the web or whatever the heck, and I found neurolinguistic programming. I'm like, what in the world is this? And it's like mindset on steroids. It's like I'm like, I subconscious mind. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And how can I learn every single thing I can like right now? It was so interesting to me. And I'm like, I don't even know what this is, but I want to wear it. I just want to breathe it in. I want to wear it. I want to be it. And I ended up hiring a coach, and hiring a coach is like one of the most beautiful benefits of life because you get to see, I like within a week or two max, like these clouds started to part, the sun started to shine through. And I'm like, wow, life isn't as crappy as I was making it out to be. And I got clarity, I got direction. I was like, I put on the fast forward button and I was like, go. And within 3 months of working with him, I stopped working my network marketing business. I went all in on learning neurolinguistic programming. I became certified. I have 5 certifications, and I started my coaching business. And within a month, I made my first $1,000. I'm like, the last 3 years, I have done almost nothing. I shouldn't say that, not almost nothing, but nowhere near what I had achieved in 3 months. And I'm like, what is it that happened? What the heck switched that made
Hmm.
me do all that in 3 months, where the previous 3 years I was like struggling going downhill and could not see myself out of a paper bag.
Hmm.
And that's kind of where it started. And it's been 3 years now that I've been doing this. And I just eat it up. I love it.
I mean, it is so brave of you to share that story, I have to say, because I think it's so vulnerable, and we feel like, especially as moms, we constantly have to have it all together all the time and give that perception. And just it's so helpful to anybody who listens to this. And I think every mom has been there at one point or another where they live in sick, I suckville. And
Yep. It's right
and
next to Whoville, but it's Isuckville.
right, it's just like, and you don't know how to get out. And the fact that you did, and our brain hides from us how we got there and what's keeping us there. And so so how are you able to get out of that situation with your mindset? What were some of the aha moments that you had that started shining a light on a different path?
Gosh, I can go into such a rabbit hole. I think one of the things that the first thing, and it sounds so simple and it's embarrassing how simple it is, but
It's
one of the
always
things that
that.
one of the things that was the most transformative in the very beginning is I started to focus on what I wanted instead of what I didn't have.
Mm,
And for where I was, it's like I was so tied to my goals. I was so tied to income. I was so tied to an outcome. And if I didn't have all these things, I wasn't successful. If I wasn't successful, I was nothing. I wasn't enough.
mm,
I wasn't good enough. I wasn't doing enough, all those things. And that is like a root, and that sucks you down so fast.
yeah.
And then, so what I did in the very beginning is instead of focusing on all the things that weren't going right, I made a practice on focusing on gratitude,
Hmm.
appreciation, and seeing what I wanted to create in the future and thinking of that consistently instead of thinking about all the things that weren't going right. And it's not
Hmm.
like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I think about it now, I'm like, that's like not earth shattering, but it's like people forget that the basics are there for a reason. And
Yeah.
that's one of the basics.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I think your story is so powerful is because we're constantly looking for, just like you were, as you described, that person to give us that magic strategy. Just give me the thing, I'm going to go do it and implement it, and this magical thing is going to happen. And that was kind of the thing that led me to coaching because I had tried the big things and they didn't work for me as they had worked for others. And why was that? And what's that element that those courses or those coaches are missing? And it is the mindset piece. And
Hmm.
for me, it's also that spirituality piece. It is that connectedness with self because you have everything you need within yourself. You just need that person to help you see it and unlock it. And
Hmm.
so let's talk about the subconscious mind because I know you really love to dive deep into that. And that work is sounds like really what propelled you forward. So what are the things that we can do to work on our subconscious mind to help grow our businesses?
Well, first, what a lot of people don't realize is that your subconscious mind is the automatic thoughts that are happening every single day on repeat.
Yeah.
And it runs 95% of our day. And when we're trying to effort or we're trying to think through problems or we're trying to figure out solutions to all these things, we're only using that 5% of our conscious mind when actually 95% of our mind is running the show. So one
Yeah.
of the things that I started to do is I started to dig into my thought patterns and why I think the things that I do. And previous to this work, I thought that my beliefs were my beliefs. This is just how life is. This is what I think. This is what I know to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized is those are just beliefs stemming from things that have happened in childhood, things that have happened before childhood, even in our DNA from grandparents and grandparents and grandparents ago. And when I learned that, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, it's like when like someone who's like in health and fitness and you're or not even in health and fitness, but someone that's like, make sure that you clean your plate, make sure that you eat everything on your plate. It's like, where does that belief come from? A lot of times it'll come from the depression when there wasn't enough food to go around. So you had to eat everything on your plate because there was never enough. And so that belief was dragged from, that person to that person to that person. And now you're a grown adult and you're believing things that have happened in so many past lives ago that you don't even realize that it's not even your belief. And so
Right.
when I started to get really interested in the blocks that I was coming up against and digging into why I believed what I believed, it made so much sense. And not even my beliefs. They were given to me from a parent, from a caregiver, from,
Mm-hmm.
an aunt or an uncle or from school. And
Mm-hmm.
then realizing that just because I believe one thing doesn't mean that I can't believe something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing that these beliefs aren't ours to live with, and that we can change them anytime we choose, that's when it's just like clouds opened up and I'm like, holy cow, this is like a new world that I don't even know what is happening right now. But I can literally program my subconscious mind through different tips and tools and techniques like hypnosis of what I actually want to believe versus what's coming up automatically. And so that's what I love doing with my clients is like hypnosis is unbelievable because we can literally program out the old beliefs, program in the new beliefs, and you start acting as that person almost literally right away. It's incredible. And so while most people are trying to effort and trying to figure out a strategy and do all these things, what I realize is it's not about the strategy, it's about who I'm being, what I'm thinking, what I'm believing, my actions, my behaviors, my identity, because identity is everything. And if I think I'm not successful, if my success is tied to an income level, if my success is tied to a rank, and I'm only successful if, that's a belief that's going to keep me stuck until I change it.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like another one with mompreneurs is time. Like I don't have enough time. And one of the things that I talk to my clients about is like, sure, being a mom is it's so much. and you get so overwhelmed with all these different things that you need to do. But what most people do is they start taking action on things that aren't going to drive their business forward, but instead what's urgent and demanded of them in the moment. And most of the time,
Mhm.
what's urgent and demanded, it's like, uh, the text messages and the emails and all this stuff, but it literally has nothing to do with where they're going in their business.
Yep.
And so one of the things that I help my clients do is like we get really, really clear on what those 5% tasks are. So instead of spending 95% of your day on things that don't move the needle, we start getting super focused on those 5% tasks. And all of a sudden, time is not an issue anymore because you're focused on what it is that you need to do in order to move the needle.
I love that so much. And it's so crazy. One of the most powerful things I ever did in my business is to create an automatic message as to when we respond to emails.
Yeah. Boundaries too is a
It is,
huge thing.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember one of the things that I did way back when is, I felt like I wanted to be a successful business owner, like more success than I already had. I wanted to be a good wife. I wanted to be a great mom. And I felt like I was wearing so many hats and it was overwhelming. And so one of the things that I started to do was I started to detach. When I am not at my desk, I am not answering emails. I am not looking at text messages. My phone is in a drawer. I'm with my family. And that is it. And it was hard because you're so attached to like the dinging and the ringing and the who needs me now and the do that you're missing the whole point, which is you're working because you want to have more income and impact and time with your kids in your family. But this
Yeah.
time that you're spent with your kids and your family is with your phone in your hand.
Hmm.
And it's like I remember a specific time when we were on vacation and my family was going fishing. And I'm sitting there with my computer on my lap and I said, I can go fishing with you guys as soon as I hit my goals for the month. I got to send out a few more invites. I got to follow up with a few more messages. And I'm like, what in the world is that all about? That was the worst idea ever. It's like I was so attached to my computer. And once I hit my goal, then I can relax. Once I hit my goal, then I can have fun. Once I hit my goal, it was like a light switch. I could turn my mood on and off by if my hit my goals on the month or in the month or not. My husband would walk in the door and be like, "Oh, you haven't hit your goals yet." I'm like, no, I haven't. But once I do, then I'll be happy and I'll be smiling. And it was true. It's like the minute that goal was hit, I was like, okay, what can we do? Let's do it now. The new month is coming up and then I got to go back to work. It was
Right.
insane how big of a like tizzy I had gotten myself in. Oh, my
Hmm.
shoulders are raising just thinking about it.
I saw your shoulder there, like, whoop.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And it's just detaching from that outcome. And
Uh-huh.
like literally, it sounds silly. You have to schedule time in your day for the
Hmm.
things that are that you want to like the things that you want to take the priority, you have to schedule that time in your day. And how much more present of a mom am I when my phone is in the drawer and I'm actually talking to my son, I'm looking him in
Yeah.
the eye, I'm getting that connection, and the same thing with my husband. Before that, it's just like, yeah, they were talking and I was scrolling or I was like not cooking or doing something and I wasn't present.
Hmm.
And that's what I think all of us want so badly is to be able to be successful and be a present person at the same time.
Hmm.
And it's not as hard as we think. It's not as hard as we make it.
Yeah, I think, the first step is just being intentional about it. And we're
Hmm.
not. We're just doing all of the things all of the time and giving so much of ourselves all of the time to various. And then I don't think anybody gets the best of you
No, yeah.
in that situation too. And I just love that you are so vulnerable about what you've been through. So how do you approach goals now that you have this detachment? How have you not let where you are at and what you are trying to achieve affect how you are acting in your daily life? Because that is a big one that I hear about. And, we just feel like if I take a rest, if I take a moment for myself or my family, I am not going to be able to achieve the outcome that I want to. And I know that's not true. But how is it now you find balance or more harmony between the two? Because I don't think there is a balance.
Before, I was allergic to doing nothing. I wore
Mm,
busyness like a badge of honor. If I wasn't
yeah.
busy doing something, I was doing nothing, and doing nothing is like the worst thing in the world to me.
Mm,
But now, what I do is I have intentional white space on my calendar where I literally have time to do nothing. I go for a walk without my headphones. I sit down on the couch and I meditate. I just do something where there's white space and I'm not doing anything so that more things can come in.
yeah.
And so without doing that, it's like you're so in busy, get stuff done mode. And
Mm-hmm.
when you take off that hat, you allow other things to come through. And those are
Mm,
the things that you need to know in order to move your business forward, in order to get the answers that you're looking for. And
right.
intentional white space, it's so hard in the beginning because I'm sitting
Mm,
there, I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Like I should be doing something. And it's such an automatic pattern to think that you need to be always on.
mm-hmm.
But the magic is in the off.
Yeah.
And we don't spend enough time doing that.
Yeah. And there's a reason why in the shower you get all these great
Yeah.
ideas. Or
Yep.
driving in your car without the radio, or like you said, taking a walk without the earbuds, which is
Yeah.
so hard for me. Oh my
I have
That
to
is
listen to my own breath.
so hard. I know. It's like, is that a bird? What?
That's funny.
But yeah, it's like once you find out, like you said, the magic happens in those quiet times. And once you figure out that that's what nourishes you and fills you back up to do all of the things,
Hmm.
that is just like such a light bulb moment. That's a pivotal mindset shift. And
Hmm.
so you mentioned, some of the limiting beliefs that you run up upon, but I'm really interested and I like to shed a light on those that we don't even realize we have, which you mentioned one, which is I don't have enough time. I think that that is a very popular one. Scarcity around anything can be
Hmm.
so powerful, whether it's
Yeah.
money, time, creativity, all of those things. So,
Hmm.
what are some of the other ones that pop up that you think live free rent in our minds?
One of the things that isn't obvious to most people is that this being conditioned to tie our worth to our
Mm.
productivity.
Mm.
So instead of doing all these things to make me feel productive, what if you just started being enough as you are right now? And then it's not the perpetual, I got to get ahead, I got to get ahead, the stuck in all the doing. But what if you just
Yeah,
started your day with a full cup of enough,
right.
you know?
I love that.
It's like I'll have some enough, please.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
it's like, and that goes into like the whole worthiness thing. And
Hmm.
I'm not worthy of having a successful business. I'm not worthy of having all these clients. It's like, at what point did you decide how much you're worth? Is there
Hmm.
an invisible worthy-o-meter that I'm unaware of? I don't
Hmm.
know what that looks like. And deciding that you're not worthy of it, it just doesn't
Hmm.
make any sense. But why
Hmm.
don't you just feed yourself a cup of enough juice in the morning and then you start being enough before you even start working, before you even get out of bed?
Yeah.
I'll have a full cup of enough. Thank you very much. Skip the
Hmm.
coffee.
Yeah, I love that too. And sometimes, we not only fall into that trap when it comes to what we do in our professional lives, but even when it comes to our family and our kids and our friends. And I've noticed that a lot of times lately, even my children will kind of be like, well, this didn't happen and this didn't happen. And I'm like, I'm one person and it's okay. It's
Hmm.
totally okay. We're alive. We're good. We didn't get the tickets to this or do this thing, or you didn't get this or that. It's okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just want to shed a light too on all that we've talked about that's so important as parents and mothers is that when we analyze our subconscious, when we have a cup of enough, we also hand that down to our children.
1000%.
And so that's really what this is all about. The stakes are just that high. It's not just about us,
Mm-hmm.
it's about setting the tone and the patterns for our children and our families that are just, we're setting the tone, we're
Yeah.
setting the pace, and we're setting them up or not based upon our behavior and how we treat ourselves and what we think about ourselves.
Yeah.
And so,
We go first.
right. So, I mean, you handed me a beautiful segue to what I wanted to talk about next, and that's morning routines because I know you're super passionate about that.
I get so fired up about morning routines because that is such a huge part of my old story.
Uh-huh.
When I had my son, I read a book called The Miracle Morning. It's by Hal
Mm-hmm.
Elrod. It's a fantastic book. It gives you literally the step-by-step guide to having a successful setup morning. And I took it so literally. And in the book, it's just like, you get up and you put in your headphones for meditation, and then you do an hour-long workout, and then you go for a walk, and then you have a lovely breakfast. And I'm like, do you have kids? Because that
Right.
is not how real life is. And so when I had my son and I wasn't able to complete this beautiful step-by-step check in the box morning routine, when he would wake up, I'd be like, oh, of course I can't get this done. Of course I start work and like 5 minutes later he's behind me. I'm like, of course this is gonna, it's like, oh, it was always like such a negative vibe. Like, of course I can't get this done. Or of course he would wake up early or just, it sets your morning tone for the day,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're sitting, he would be up, I'm sitting there, waiting for the coffee to brew, and I'm like, okay, so my work today is done until 9:30 tonight, and I can't get anything else done because the nap time hustle, I was so attached to that nap time hustle and get everything done in only 20 minutes, like hurry up, go go go. And it's just like, I felt so underwater, and I did not have a way out. But what I realized about morning routines, it's not about what you do, it's how you allow yourself to feel. And
Mm.
that could take 5 minutes or it can take an hour and 25 minutes. And the choice is yours depending upon how much time you have. So the way I look at morning routines now is morning routines is my time to train my brain on how I want to feel,
Mm-hmm.
because my emotions are going to dictate the rest of the day. If I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, which way is the day going to go? It ain't going to go good, and then I'm going to be waiting for like the message or the this or the that or the or something to make me feel better versus me
Mm-hmm.
making myself feel better. And
Mm.
so what I started to do is I just would close my eyes in bed, and I would become really hyper aware of how grateful I am for the things that I already have. Because if you know law of attraction, you can't attract anything until you're grateful for the things that you already have. And it
Mm.
wasn't just, I would have like my notebook, and, in the network marketing space, it was always like, write down 3 things that you're grateful for, and write down how you want your day to go. It's like, those are amazing. And I'm not saying they don't work. For me, they didn't work because it was words on a piece of paper. It did nothing for my emotions. In fact, it was annoying because I have 3 months of papers looking like Bart Simpson writing on a chalkboard with nothing actually, and nothing was changing, you know? But what changes is when you see what you want to see, hear what you want to hear, feel what you want to feel now. And when you start remembering those memories that feel so good, I would think of like the memory of my husband and I standing on the stage and looking out at all of the people that had come to our wedding and that feeling of gratitude. I would think about the minute my son was born and how happy I was. And when you go back and relive that time as if it's happening now, I just got goosebumps. It's happening with me just talking about it. It doesn't take an hour and a half, it can literally take 5 minutes. And when you start your day off in gratitude and appreciation, your day has no choice but to make you bulletproof. You
Yeah.
will become bulletproof just from what you do in the very early morning, whatever the heck morning time you get up.
Yeah.
And it literally changed everything for me.
I love that so much. And it is so powerful. And I've been there too. I mean, this gives us so much permission in how we take care of ourselves, no matter what we do. I remember somebody was talking about how their wife started their day with 1 hour drinking their cup of coffee. And I was just like, an hour? Like an hour every day? I don't have an hour. Lucky to get like 15 minutes. Like that was a luxury to me. And so that just stuck in my head. I saw somebody's social media post talking about their wife's routine of starting their day with 1 hour of reflective time, nobody bothering her, drinking her coffee. And I thought, I'm doomed. There's no way. No way I can
Yeah.
accomplish anything in life because I don't have 1 hour to, have this peaceful coffee time to myself.
And when you set up your day already ahead, things are always going to happen. SHIT
Yeah.
is always going to hit the
Yeah.
fan. And when it does, you treat it so differently than if you were already starting in the negative.
Right. Yeah. And it's just, our brain has this funny way of constantly looking to compare and not do what's best for us, like puts us in a position where we're handing our happiness to an accomplishment or
Yeah.
we're handing our happiness to some process or
Yeah.
or an achievement or something. And if you can just bring yourself back to, like you said, to focusing on what makes you happy, what you have, what time you have, what you want to feel intentionally. I mean, I I just don't know. You could have a wildly successful life just incorporating that into your day at some
Yeah.
point, even if you
And that
don't have time.
95% of your subconscious mind thinks that the language of your subconscious mind thinks in pictures, sounds, and feelings. And
Hmm.
so when you incorporate pictures, sounds, and feelings into your 5-minute morning routine, so what do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? When you incorporate that into your morning routine, it's like literally putting like rocket fuel on your day.
Yeah.
It will shift so much.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's like everybody's looking for that strategy, that secret sauce. This is it. Like this
Yeah.
literally is it. It's it's so
Mindset is a
simple.
strategy.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, we just count things that seem too simple.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's
It's got to be hard. It's got to take a long time.
right.
And it's
It's
just,
got to be
yeah.
expensive
Yeah, exactly. He's like, wait, what if it was actually really easy? What would it look like if it was easy?
and free, and you could do
Yes,
it yourself.
yes, exactly.
I love that. Yeah, I know. And I think this really ties into about scaling our businesses. And I know that you help your clients scale to 5K months and beyond. And so, what are some of those things that we don't realize? And I think you've already mentioned some of them that we're not focusing on that can easily bring us a lot more success in our businesses.
You're right. We did mention some of it because what I focus on is using subconscious mindset as an actual strategy.
Hmm.
Because when you dig deep into who you believe you are,
Hmm. Hmm.
that can shift the way you show up. It can
Yeah.
change your behaviors. It can change your environment. It could change the way you see things. It
Hmm.
changes your energy. But most people are trying to get the perfect content calendar or the messaging or the perfect launch or whatever. And those things are important, but at the very top of that is who you believe you are. It's your identity. And when you
Hmm.
shift your identity, everything below it shifts. So if you're
Hmm.
like, so example, like if you're trying to put out a social media post and you're just like, and what's running in in the back of your mind is I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not successful, lack and scarcity. If you've
Hmm.
got that running in the back of your mind on autopilot, what is that post energy going to come out as?
Yeah.
Exactly all those things. It's invisible, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can shift your identity to I'm already worthy. I've had a cup of enough this morning, and everything is always working out in my favor, and look at all the amazing things that I already have. When
Mm-hmm.
you're in that energy and then you write the post, it's a completely different outcome. And so
It
while
is.
everyone is focused on the do, I'm like, wait a minute, let's back up the train. Let's figure out what is running in on autopilot in the back of your mind so that we can figure that out first, and then you can do the strategy. Because you said it earlier, it's just like you can have all these different strategies and they work for some people, but they don't work for you. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
strategy. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the strategy. It's who you believe you are.
Right. 1,000%. The subconscious intentions and energy behind what we create things with is how they are received.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is wildly just, it's unbelievable how just shifting that creates this whole new paradigm in which you create with ease and how things are received.
Mm-hmm.
It is, it just doesn't seem possible. It doesn't
Yeah.
seem
It
um
can't possibly be that easy.
right? No, I have to like buy 4 more courses and hire 3 more coaches and an assistant and all these other things.
The procrastination is fine. I'll figure that out later, but let me get through the four
Right.
courses first.
Right.
The
Yeah.
perfectionism is there. I get it, but let's figure out the best content strategy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I just love this conversation. It is just, I don't care where you are on your entrepreneurial journey, you need reminded of these things because it just sneaks up on you, and it's a constant work in progress, and
Hmm.
as you overcome one hurdle, you're going to have others in the future that you're going to have to apply these same principles to overcome.
Yep.
And so with that in mind, on your journey, can you think of any um lessons or nuggets that you wish would have been shared with you that would have
Mhm.
made your journey easier, or a takeaway that you want to leave with listeners to just remind them of how their entrepreneurial journey doesn't have to be full of resistance. It doesn't have to be full of lack and scarcity.
Hmm. Two things are coming to mind. The first thing that I wish I knew back then is treating my day as whatever I put out there, it's all data. Whether it does well, whether it doesn't do well, whether the launch is great, whether it doesn't do great, whether, my content converts, all that is simply data to figure out what works and what doesn't. And
Mm,
so what most of my clients do is they base their worth on whether or not their Instagram posts got a certain number of likes, whether or not you got any shares, how many comments you have, how many followers you have,
mm,
instead
mm-hmm,
of looking at content creation as just another piece of data to see if my messaging is working.
mm-hmm,
And when you detach from the outcome of needing it to be a certain thing, then all it is just you're just creating content because it's just data. It's just seeing if it works or not.
mm,
And the same thing with the launch. It's like, yeah, you do all this work for a launch and then you launch and then maybe you don't get the sales that you want. But is it because you suck and you don't know what you're doing and actually maybe you shouldn't be doing this? Or is it just simply data based on how many people you got in your launch, the numbers and all that kind of stuff? And
mm-hmm,
so that leads me into another thing that I used to do is I used to make things mean things. And as
mm,
humans, we are meaning making machines. And because this launch didn't go well, that means I suck. Because I didn't get any likes on my Instagram post, that means no one wants what I have to sell. Because I don't have DMs in my Instagram all afternoon long, that means that I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like, but is that actually true? No, because you're making those things mean things because that's what we do. But
mm,
instead, you can also make it mean something that's going to serve you versus something that is rooted in lack and scarcity.
mm.
If I can go back, I would do that first. Stop making things mean things. And
Yeah.
it's like, I get caught up in it too. It's like if I spend so much time on this post and like
Mhm.
nobody likes it, it's like, okay, Jen, are you making this mean something? Like, what does it actually mean? It's like, well, let's pull up the data and actually base it on facts versus
Mhm.
perceptions of the facts. And
Yeah.
it just changes everything. Just letting go of the outcome of what you think it should be, and instead just everything is just simply data.
I love that. That is such a powerful reminder and a shift in how we perceive what we're doing and how it's landing.
Hmm.
It's just not this constant high school popularity contest.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like it
Which
is
is
not.
also probably rooted in the back of our head somewhere.
Right, exactly. No, I see that and I would just love to spread what you just said to all of the people on all the social platforms because really it's just like you said, data. And it's like some people do it really well for whatever reason, lots of reasons, and some people are just still learning and adjusting and it's an experiment. And so I really love that reminder. So, Jen, I am sure listeners are going to want to connect with you and learn more about what you do and be in your orbit. So, where can they do that?
My current hub is the old Instagram at the Jen Lemke.
Uh-huh.
And then I think what helps most people is I don't even know. Okay. Cut that part out.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Because I don't even know where
Yeah.
I was going with that. Okay. Yeah. So the best place to find me is on Instagram at the Jen Lemke.
Okay. Awesome. I will leave that link in the show notes as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. It's been a wonderful conversation. It's magic happens when like-minded mom entrepreneurs are just out there to support each other, have a conversation and make space for helping others. So thank
Exactly.
you.
It's all part of the journey.
Yeah, it really truly is. So thanks so much for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.